I am mostly housebound, often bedridden in California due to COVID making my pre-existing MCAS significantly worse and causing other things such as ME CFS, but I spent a month in Japan and over there I only had to be stuck in bed all day once. Today, I will try to quickly explain why that is. The first thing that is really important to mention is that my worst environmental MCAS triggers are extremely common in California, but extremely rare in Japan. And this won't apply to everyone with MCAS because everyone's MCAS triggers are different. But my worst MCAS triggers include things such as the green stuff that people smoke, poor air quality, especially due to fires, certain fireplace smoke, certain perfumes, and a lot of American cleaning products. Although I did have anaphylaxis multiple times while in Japan, it was way less often than back home in California if I were to leave the house that often. Since my MCAS wasn't as bad, and because MCAS can affect a lot of other chronic illnesses, that meant that things such as my ME/CFS also wasn't as bad. I still was struggling with my health, and there were things I had to completely miss out on or leave early from because of my health, and there were also a lot of times I was sleeping in the car while my wife was driving. I had to go back to the hotel to lay down and nap, stuff like that, but I was a lot better than back at home, and I felt like I had some of my life back. I do want to be transparent though. The reason why my trip was an entire month long isn't because we planned for it to be that long, but I started having anaphylaxis at the airport from perfume stores. And then I also started having anaphylaxis from other people on the plane before it took off, and some of the flight attendants and my wife decided I needed to get off before the plane left. The airlines almost didn't allow me on the plane to begin with before I started having anaphylaxis because of my MCAS, which I can make a separate video on that. I should also mention that although wearing a mask does help prevent me from having anaphylaxis as often or as severe reactions, it doesn't prevent it 100% of the time for me. Unfortunately, since I have been back home, there are some people who aren't part of my medical care team or my immediate family who don't even know everything of what happened on my trip or how I am in my daily life with my health, who try to jump to the conclusion that my health issues must be partially anxiety then if I was able to go to Japan. I've also dealt with people getting offended and starting a one-sided argument with me over the fact that my MCAS was better over in Japan due to my environmental triggers being less common. Actually, there is one other thing I probably should mention, which is why the heck I went to Japan in the first place with all of these health issues, because there were a lot of people in my personal life who actually were very worried about me, and some were telling me not to go. But the thing is, I might be moving overseas at least short term in the future, and the last time I took a plane flight was in 2017, back when my health issues weren't as bad, and that was to Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Scotland, so I needed to see whether or not I could handle flying, and whether or not I could handle Japan. My wife and I didn't think it would be a good idea to make any decisions on whether or not we actually should move overseas until doing this first. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below and I will do my best to answer that. Also, I do already have a video on here about my experience as an ambulatory wheelchair user in Japan, so if you're interested in that, please go check that out. I did film a video specifically about my experience with being a wheelchair user at Sanrio Poodleland. I just need to find the footage. I filmed that while I was in Japan, I just never edited it, so hopefully one day that will get out. I might also film a video about my experience with being an ambulatory wheelchair user and with using the disability system at Tokyo Disney if any of you are interested in that, because their system is different than in the US. Another thing is, last week I finally filmed the video that I keep getting asked questions about, which is how did I manage traveling to Japan while being COVID cautious and immune compromised. So I just need to edit that. That one will hopefully be out soon. And then the very last thing is, if any of you want a video about how my experience was with flying with my MCAS, let me know, and maybe I'll film that, because that was quite an interesting experience. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.